Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks Plays KSP. This is episode 8 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration Season 2. And in this episode we will be launching a cyclotron that we have assembled in the previous episode. So, without further ado, let's kick the gas. 3, 2, 1, go! We have ignition. Our thrust weight is 1.18 roughly at launch, which is a little bit lowish, but it's still sufficient for us to be able to perform a decent launch. So, standard ascent profile, nothing out of the ordinary. Our rocket is running straight and true. Time to perform the gravity turn. As our rocket is ascending, passing 10,000 meters, getting ready for booster separation. Booster separation successful, and our apoapsis is already gaining momentum, getting into 30s. I mean, this rocket has actually very low thrust to weight and therefore is a little bit struggling. It's going pretty slow into the higher levels of atmosphere, slower than I would like. But yeah, I'll just keep on burning until we get to the orbit and then circularize. So I am thrusting a little bit. It's not the most efficient launch, I'll tell you that much. And I think I have to credit this to not adjusting my solid rocket boosters when thrusting initially and adding an additional fuel tank, because I thought it would give me a slightly higher delta V. Okay, setting a maneuver node, and I deliberately wanted to be below the Kerbin Orbital Lab 1 because I want to rendezvous with it. And since I didn't clearly plan this well, our intercept will not be when the Kerbin Orbital Lab is passing on top of us. Okay, deploying the fairings from the cyclotron and kicking the gas. (1,100 meters per second to burn until we reach our desired orbital velocity. And as you can see, this is nothing really special when it comes to cyclotron. I just wanted to basically have a rocket that could just get it just enough to the Kerbin Orbital Lab and be able to dock it. As you remember in, the previous episode, we had a memorial service for our Kerbinauts that have died tragically, so the KSO shuttle orbiter has been put on hold until we investigate the reason for the instability, so we are once again back to rockets, but we will be using SSTOs as we did previously. So at the end of the last series, we have discovered also some more advanced spaceplane engines, and I will in a couple of episodes start putting them to the good use, hopefully. Okay, now fiddling a little bit with our maneuver node, trying to get a good encounter, and I figured I would probably spare you a little bit of that and hopefully just make sure that I get a good enough encounter, hopefully. So let's see. I'm thinking whether or not to go for ascending node, so let's see if we can get at the descending node. Okay, well, as always, some rendezvous fiddling, because in hindsight I'm an idiot. I should have planned better the rendezvous. have a Kerbin orbital lab just pass over our heads as we are ascending with the rocket. This way I have to fiddle plus orbit, minus orbit until I get a decent rendezvous. And we are getting close, but I'm trying to secure an even better rendezvous, but we don't have much maneuvering space, so yeah, I have to be a little bit careful when it comes to how do we want to align these two. Come on, please. Please, please. Pretty please. Oh, and it seems, yes! And we do have an encounter. Great. And that's gonna be happening in 1 day, 1 hour and 21 minutes. Okay, we have skipped to roughly 15 minutes ahead of our burn. The maneuver node is still in place, so we had 1 day to skip, and I mean really showing you guys how I'm doing orbital laps around Kerbin isn't that much fun. So, okay. Now we have set up, the maneuver node is set up, and we have a burn coming together with our flight computer. As you know, we are playing with remote tech, so hopefully this should be a pretty straightforward burn that should put us in a good spot for a rendezvous with the station. Okay, and the burn is complete. Perfect. Okay, let's set up a rendezvous maneuver. By the way, special thanks to the guys that told me that the rendezvous maneuvers do get updated. Thank you so much, because I wasn't aware of this, and yeah, this will simplify my playthrough a bit. In the KSP 090 I was using mainly maneuver nodes for these kind of alignments, but I guess the nearest approach works very well as well. Okay, so we will be passing, if my precise better burn times isn't lying, we will be passing at 1.7 kilometers in 90 seconds. Now, I think I can do better than that. We do have 22 meters per second in the ascent stack, and we have some RCS. So yes, guys, we will be docking on fumes, literally, when it comes to the liquid fuel and oxidizer. Okay, not fumes, we will be docking on RCS, actually, yes. And doing the final slowdown on RCS, I assume, as well. Okay, now I'm kicking the gas a little bit because I want to align our target prograde marker and our orbit prograde marker to make sure that we go as efficiently towards the station as possible. We are approaching it at 19 meters per second, and with this correction, okay, 0.1 at 80 seconds, detaching the last piece of our, well, ascent stage, let's call it. And now we are aligning and passing 900 meters from the Kerbin orbital lab. I was a little bit worried that I won't be able to slow down enough initially to be able to rendezvous with the Kerbin orbital lab, but now I see that, well, I don't have to worry about it, which is great. Turning on our favorite tool when it comes to docking. Okay, just making sure that the correct senior docking port is corrected. Well, it's selected, and now we are performing the docking. 170 meters distance, and 270 meters. I just have to make sure that I'm correctly aligned and that everything is correctly positioned for the docking. So I just want to make sure to put the orange reticule in the center, and that the pendulum orange one is also correctly aligned, because it means that we are rotated correctly. And then after that we will be just making sure that our translation vectors are correct, and those are indicated by 2 green lines that you see, and I'm trying to move the yellow marker, well, in that general direction. So that's basically a little bit how you do it, and when these green lines start retracting, meaning that you're getting closer and closer aligned, and in that case you want to be placing yellow marker slightly towards the center back. Okay. Coming in closer and closer, and we will be docking on this side because on the other side I've noticed I have still attached a tug, and I figured, well, might as well. Big cyclotron coming up in 19 meters. Okay, doing the final translation corrections before we actually start thrusting towards the station. We are going at 0.62 velocity. I think that's enough. I want to just slightly slow it down before we actually dock. 1 meter and docked. Beautiful sight. Oh man, this game is just beautiful. Okay, let us extend our solar panels and power up the cyclotron, obviously. So, the idea was, okay, we could perform prograde quarks, retrograde quarks, but for the eccentric quarks we need 2 cyclotrons, and I guess now we will simply have to find a way to get eccentric quarks experiment here towards the station and then perform it. Beautiful, beautiful sight. I think I want to have it for the screenshot for the episode. Something along these lines. I cannot get the sun and the station in one picture. Okay, that thing is done. Now, our next order of business should be, I want to create another probe, and this probe I want to see if I can do, I'm thinking of doing another Jool supplies mission, because we have, if you recall, our last episode of Series 1 ended up in, well, almost catastrophic failure when our supply ship that was bound for Jool has basically aerobraked in the Lathe atmosphere, aerobraked pretty much extremely, and then finally lithobraked. So yeah, we don't have extra supplies around Jool, and if we will be wanting to do any missions towards Jool, we need to have some supplies that will be waiting there and hopefully feeding Kerbals and keeping them alive until we will be able to send them back. And since our carborundum tanker had been using lithium drive and magnetoplasmodynamic engine, I really don't see any reasons why we shouldn't be using it here as well. So I'm trying once again to find a good fission reactor. Maybe this one. It's definitely a big one. The Excalibur. Okay, and let's put some thermal control system. We want to be putting 2 of the radiator panels, great, and then 2 of these, which I think would be like the active ones if they need to be. I think that should be enough, and now let's see that we find some lithium tank and the magnetoplasmodynamic engine. So this should give us a delta V of 9,000, which is more than enough to go to Jool. I want to put the 4 RTGs to keep it powered up, and then I forgot that we are missing one itty weeny critical component. Antenna. So yeah, first things first, let's put some communitrons for the shorter range communications. And then followed by the big ass reflectron, which we need to be able to reach Jool. So, but then again, why put one when we can put two? And then I want to have some radial attachment points and then docking ports on it. Hold on, but I don't need actually. I can put docking ports radially. Okay, then let's put them directly. Okay, great. Now, if I move this up, I would be able to detach the engines later, which is something that I should definitely be thinking about doing. Yeah, something along those lines. And I want to have this one balanced so that if I ever need to dock it to anything, I want to be able to dock it. I won't be able to dock it obviously if I'm using remote tech because, yeah, time delay with Jool, it's, well, you can do the flights, you can do the corrections, but you cannot do the docking. Let's put some big solar panels just for kicks. Action groups, and I want to keep this craft simple, guys, so I think this should be as simple as it is. Now we'll have to put this bad boy into fairing, and I was hoping that I would be able, I was naively hoping that I would be able to put it in 3.75, then naively in the 5 meter fairing, so I'll have to go to 5 meter expanded fairing. Those antennas, man. They're a little bit too much for my taste, but okay. Clamshell deployment, fewer sides. I prefer not to have too many sides. It doesn't look very realistic to me, but maybe it is. Who knows? Okay, so trying to find an appropriate tank. Okay. That is big enough, and for this one we only need enough delta V to get us basically into the orbit. So yeah, I think I can actually live with that. Now I'm trying to find a beefy enough stabilizers so that the center of lift gets back behind the center of mass, because we don't want it to be flippity flip. Let's put some SAS. Okay, so total of 3.4 to get to orbit and then a 9 to execute the transfer. I'm very happy with that. Okay, let's put some more fins, and I'm thinking that should be enough. Center of lift is still way off, but I don't know, maybe I'll just maintain a steeper profile. I really don't want to be putting that many fins below just to get the center of lift below the center of mass. Doesn't make sense, really. And beside, our Kerbin to Jool windows is also closing. So, a few minor adjustments. As you recall, we built the science rover in the episode where we will be building a rover and testing to sending it of Duna. I will link the episode in a card that you can see right now. So yes, and now I want to rework this rover because we have the carbonite miner, so we can put the fuel in the fuel tank, but we need a method of reliably chauffeuring that fuel on the surface of Duna. So now I'm just creating a tanker rover that I will be sending together with our exploration rover in a second similar ship. Just made sure that it's actually correctly placed and launched and whatnot. Okay, perfect. Now, docking port. So I mean, the one of the cool features of the Mailmut rover is that you can dock them together and you're basically creating a base. Now, Let's see if we can put the service bay at the rear. And in the service bay, sorry, I do want to be creating, actually putting some life support, and I want to be putting the KCT container. Well, okay, let's put it some other way. I don't want to use the service bay. What else do we have? Oh, we have a cargo bed. Yeah. Let's put it like this, and in the cargo bed I want to be putting the wheels. And I was just experimenting if I need it with shroud or without shroud. I think it's good enough. Now I'm trying to find appropriate Kerbal inventory system container. And in that one I obviously want to be putting the connector pods, which will be acting as fuel pipes to pump the fuel to and from, well, from the tanker to the refueling craft and vice versa. Okay. That being said, we need to actually put now life support. I mean, we don't need a great deal of it, but the more we put it, the calmer I will be on, because this rover will be some time on Duna, so yeah. Just trying to rotate these life support containers. Now I'm putting the hex scans. Perfect. Mirror symmetry, one on each side. And one here. Since we're obviously it's priced commodity, we might as well take a few more. Let's put some lights, because you know, lights. To illuminate the cargo, and 2 RTGs to generate the power, and finally, yeah, okay, let's just rename it refuel tanker. So, oh, and now I notice what this no shroud means. Okay, well, I mean, I'm overall pretty happy with the way it looks, so I think I'm gonna keep it this way. Let's call it rover Mailmoot tanker. Perfect. Let's just do it a quick simulation run, shall we? Oh, geez, I almost forgot then again. We need a ladder. Because if we ever want to reach the Kerbal inventory system, we should have some ladder. Okay, let's put it on the back, because clearly the entrance over there is clogged. Perfect. And let's put it to action group 5. Okay, let's run the simulation. Okay, the ladder works. Let's try and do the EVA. Oh, boing, boink. Some glitching there, sorry. And I can reach the inventory from here. Well, that's pretty much everything I need to know. Okay, please stop falling down. Yeah, hilarity may ensue. Okay. Go back, please. Okay. Bill and Val, recover and let us just try and find the correct form factor to put in the rover. And I'm now trying to just put the chutes. We want 3 chutes, and I think those would be enough. Maybe put 2 on each side just to be on the safe side. Now trying to find the correct form factor, how much it will be pronounced. Okay, come on, rotate. Set it to Duna. Let's first adjust everything, including size and all that jazz. because then we will be copying that one over and over. Okay, we put another one here, another one there, and then I want to be putting this one here and this one there. Hopefully that should be enough to keep everything when it comes to falling in check. And I just want to make sure that I deploy one of the chutes a little bit earlier, just to slow us down significantly enough. Okay, applying, blah blah. Okay, remove the fuel because this wouldn't be a refueler if it had come already with fuel. So I want to retract the wheels. Awesome. Okay, now this one is actually rover, Duna tanker rover Mark 1, and in this folded form we want to be putting it into the Duna tanker lander. So yeah. Okay, and then finally check your staging, check your staging, check your staging. So we will be launching 2 of these ships and a couple of Kerbals. So let's see, making sure that our staging is correct, which I'm starting to believe it is. And then let's just see, we need some stabilizing fins, obviously. Okay, yeah, by the way, guys, I've added also balloons, which I will be testing at some point, for sure. Okay, I'm trying to find the correct fin. It took me a while, sorry for that, to find the stabilizer. And just make sure we put them in symmetry. And this time I do want to make sure that my center of lift is behind center of mass. So I'm gonna be adding a few more of these guys. By the way, guys, we are coming up on the end of our episode. If you like the episode, hit subscribe for more KSP content that should be coming soon, and we will be launching these babies soon enough. But that will happen in the future episodes. Until then, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.